Now back to Studio SO3 and to Blue Orchids. Hello.
Hello again.
So Patrick's been on from Hornchurch. He said, "Good evening, Mark. I absolutely loved the Blue Orchid song. Please excuse my ignorance, but who is Martin? The Vic Goddard track is awesome." So I didn't set anything up previously, but Martin Brahma, founder member of The Fall and founder member of Blue Orchids as well. And of course, at one point in time, my comrade in arms and the man who taught me how to play the Fall songs in the first place, and then absconded about just over a year later.
Yeah, my work there was done.
Well, absolutely. Well, on one occasion, because we were talking about this, I mean, obviously you left and you told me you were leaving The Fall whilst we were at an Iggy Pop concert, which was very upsetting. But you did rejoin The Fall after I'd been kicked out.
10 years later, yeah. Extricate in 89, yeah.
Right. Now, we'll talk a little bit about that, but more about Blue Orchids in a short while. But I know you do Twitter, because we follow each other.
Yes.
I presume you saw The Fall Lawyers for You.
Yeah, I did. That was great, really funny. Yeah. I turned my life around, they did. Yeah.
It's just brilliant. I mean, because I was thinking, no, it's not that pertinent for Martin, because he left, but then I thought, oh, no, the second time round, you were sacked, weren't you?
Yeah, just like you in Australia, funnily enough.
Right, well, there's a pattern emerging. But for anybody who didn't see it, it's in Viz, but somebody tweeted it. But it's basically, when you were you unceremoniously sacked from The Fall between 76 and 2018? If so, then you could be entitled to compensation. Call Fall Lawyers for You today. But it's funny enough, I mean, I don't know if any of this works for you. It says, were you sacked for eating salad during a sound check? That's not you, is it?
That's not me. No.
Let go for dancing at a post-gig after-party. That's me.
Okay.
Booted out after politely asking Marky Smith not to flip around with your amp on stage.
We'll go with that one for me, because the truth is unutterable.
Well, yes, I can imagine. Right, we'll talk a little bit about The Fall later on, but we're going to talk more about Blue Orchids. But first, you're going to do another tune for us. So what's next?
This is called No Ghosts, No Answers.
Great, thank you.
Life was intolerable, whatever method was employed. The daylight faded, the day they arrived. No ghosts, no answers, I hardly listened to the song. Sweet leaping Jesus, I was double gone. In the shadow deep in darkness, intuition guiding me. No ghosts at all, just the dawn in the sky. Of the three remaining targets, bereft of morality, he didn't look like a monster. The player sat mutely. No ghosts, no answers, no ghosts at all. I was about to flip, so pleased it seemed cruel, and I was slurring my speech as I stumbled down the hall. No ghosts, no answers, I hardly listened to the song. Sweet leaping Jesus, well, I was double gone. No ghosts, no answers, no ghosts at all.
Fabulous. Blue Orchids live in session with No Ghost, No Answers. Now, your new album is Angus Tempest Memoir.
Correct.
And it's out on Tiny Global Productions already. And the press release does point out that you've made more music in the last 6 years than in the 35 previous years.
Yeah.
So what triggered all this then off, Martin?
Well, with the current releases on Tiny Global, it's purely the fact I've got good label support now. You know, a label that kind of believes in what I'm doing, because you know it's quite often it's difficult to actually get a label to stand by you. You know, so that's really made the difference. Yeah.
Yeah, of course it does help, doesn't it? But I mean, and beyond that, I mean, have you been constantly writing anyway and just been getting yourself a bit of a backlog there?
Well, really, probably for the last 12 years now. I mean. Yeah, because I had a Factory Star before Blue Orchids reformed. We made a couple of albums. That was like 2011, 2012. So, yeah, I'm kind of. I don't know. I'm a late developer, I think.
Well, you know, I mean, again, I don't want to just keep saying this kind of thing, but you were writing my favourite songs when you just pretty much started being in an open kind of public forum. You know, you wrote an awful lot of those early songs for the fall.
Yeah.
And the ones that just kind of drew me and all of my mates in, and the rest is kind of history. Yeah, and so is there a common thread running through the album?
Yeah, well, it's kind of based on the life of Angus Tempest, who's kind of gentleman, adventurer, mystic, and these adventures in non-linear time. It's a concept album, you might say. Right,
okay. And you're going to sell the rights for a film?
Yeah, I'm up for that. If you're any directors out there listening, producers.
Well, if mark.6music@bbc.co.uk, you can get in touch with me via that, and then obviously I shall pass it on.
Exactly.
But we're talking about a memoir there. I mean, and talking of your history, which we have briefly, have you ever thought about a memoir?
Not at the moment. Maybe in another 10 years, you know. I don't want to sort of draw a line under my story at this point, because I'm on a roll, as you just said, so...
Right, okay, yeah.
I'm holding fire on that, yeah.
People often say that, don't they, when they've written the memoir? It's a bit like, right, I'm done now, I'll just tell everybody what I've actually done in my life, but you're still doing it.
Yeah.
Okay, all right.
I've got a bad memory as well, which doesn't help.
Well, that doesn't help at all, I know. I mean, I've never been anywhere near any of that, and I can't remember. I mean, you know, here's just a good example. I've said it on air before, but when the Fall were in Greece at one point in time, we went out drinking with Nick Cave, which is always a bad idea, obviously. And I'd forgotten the fact that it was midnight, and we went on a log flume together. I mean, if you forget...
Erased from your memory, yeah.
If you forget that kind of thing, there's no hope for you, is there?
Exactly.
But, you know, it's just... a lot of the bands that we play, and we're lucky enough to have play it in session for us on this programme, like yourselves, like Vic Goddard, you know, like the Nightingales, like the Monochrome Set. There are so many bands from 1978, I know roughly 1 year either way, but who are doing really well now, and the people are flocking out to see them again. Why do you think now is the right time for that?
Well, you know, it's hard to say, isn't it, really? It's a strange phenomenon. Yeah, we kind of grew up in that era when songwriting was a pretty serious business, you know, a way of expressing yourself, and it kind of, obviously it stays with some of us, you know.
Yeah, I mean...
kind of matured with the process.
Well, I was going to say that. I mean, probably, you know, I mean, when you've been writing songs for 40 years, you're going to get better and better at it, presumably.
Well, I like to think so.
That's why I gave up a long time ago. I recognised my limitations. Just glimpsing briefly, like we were talking about the Fall earlier on, and you just did the Oh Brother podcast with Stephen Paul Hanley.
Yeah.
And I loved it. It was just great hearing you telling those stories of the Fall before I joined. I joined pretty early on, but I mean, you knew Mark before the Fall. You formed the band with him.
Yeah.
And it was great hearing you talk about it, because I've not really heard you talk about the band that much previously. Was it kind of, did the years kind of make it easier for you to look back and reflect on your time in the band?
Oh, certainly, yeah. I mean, I'm just in a place now where I can appreciate it all, and it's great to, you know, look back and talk about it occasionally. Don't want to get too involved in the past, but so it's great to talk to Steve and Paul. I really enjoyed their podcast. It's great, yeah.
It was brilliant. And also, I mean, we're talking about the memoir and all that kind of stuff, but you worked with Nico for a while.
Yeah.
How was that?
That was totally unexpected, because I was like a teenage Nico fan. I had all her albums and stuff, and she was this exotic creature. I thought I'd never meet her, you know.
Yeah.
And then suddenly she washed up in Manchester and was looking for a band, you know. And she was involved with my manager then, Alan Wise, the legendary Alan Wise, and he just phoned me up and said, "Have you heard of this German woman called Nico?" I said, "Yep." And she was in a hotel down the road, so he just drove me over there, and we got on very well. So.
It was a strange part of Mancunian music history, wasn't it? Because I remember me and some mate, well, it was the guys in the Fall, we went down to Rafters one night and the buzz was about Nico's in Rafters.
Yeah.
And we're like, yeah, give over. And sure enough, there she was, sat down at a table. And we just couldn't work it out. And then she left and we sat just coincidentally at the table that she'd been sat at. And the next minute, there was a tap on the shoulder. "Have you seen my cloak?" We're like, really? This is just somebody's put something in my drink here, you know.
Yeah, it's spooky.
But she loved it and she stayed, obviously, didn't she?
Yeah.
Brill.
Still not sure why, but...
No, well, she had blue orchids back in her
that's
up.
why, obviously, yeah.
Obviously. I'm saying all the right things.
Yeah.
You've got one more tune to do, and I will read out the tour dates after you've done it. So what's the last song, Blue Orchids?
This is The Young Generation Is Our Hope.
Brilliant. Okay, thank you.
Are you ready, guys?
Is our hope. At the top of the ridge sits a mausoleum. The bus meanders back. If my body dies, let my body die. Next the bartender hit the stage. I hunkered down in a cheap hotel. Next morning I took a monastery. My room is freezing. Some people need something spiritual to sustain them. In the corner of the room sits a lumpy mass. You wrote almost with a feeling of regret. The hidden library's now in the cave 17. These questions gnawed at me. Humanity has never had it easy. The young generation is our hope. I was startled by this comment. It means freedom. Only homing pigeon can be trusted with freedom. For a Westerner, choosing a Chinese name is tricky. Some students only have a shaky grasp of English. In order to remain strictly incognito, I already felt on edge. I was jolted awake by the sounds of machine gun fire. Their privileged lives were almost over. So delicate and secretive is espionage. The vast region I knew nothing about. These questions gnawed at me. Humanity has never had it easy. Hidden libraries down to the cave 17. If my body dies, let my body die. Only homing pigeon can be trusted with freedom. These questions gnawed at me. Humanity has never had it easy. My room is freezing. I grew up. So the young generation is our hope. Uh-oh. Young generation.
Fabulous stuff. That was Blue Orchids live in session for the last time tonight. The young generation is our hope. So the tour dates, as mentioned earlier, the 23rd of September, Friday, the Night and Day Cafe in Manchester. 24th, Middlesbrough Westgate Social Club. The 8th of October, Stourbridge Claptrap. The 20th of October, Exeter The Cavern. 21st, Bristol Thunderbolt. The 22nd, London Hope and Anchor. And the 23rd of October, Brighton The Albert. I've enjoyed it from start to finish. It's been great. So thanks so much for coming in, guys. Much appreciated.
Our pleasure, yeah.
Okay, take care.
It was a blast.
Thank you.